The 18 of Kyle Busch is into the wall. Kevin Harvick into the wall. Race leader Martin Truex Jr. has just wrecked. Oh, and into the wall, the 9 of Chase Elliott. Climbs out of the race car, but the fire's still burning on that right side.
Byron felt like maybe the 11 ran him into the fence off of turn 2. Byron takes that opportunity to possibly retaliate.
Looking for career win number 3. It's going to come at Texas. Tyler Reddick wins in the Lone Star State.
Hey race fans, welcome to another episode of Backseat Drivers. I'm Alex Weaver, joined by Kim Kuhn and Mamba Smith. The fam's back together and just in time for the craziness of Texas. Who would have thought? Not us. Make sure and text 31032. You can text the keywords Kim or Mamba to agree, disagree, give your thoughts. We don't care what you say. If you just want to tell us how excited you are for Talladega, you text whatever you want. Keep it classy though. All right. Let's get into everything from Texas because, man, it was blazing hot in Texas this weekend. If you were joining us at the racetrack, it was just a mere 97 degrees at the start of the race. Many playoff drivers felt the heat and crashed out during this race, and we even saw a new rivalry form between Denny Hamlin and William Byron. So were we surprised by how much of a wild card Texas became?
I think heading into the weekend, maybe people thought it was going to be a little tamer, at least compared to Talladega and the Roval. But I was in the garage yesterday talking to teams, and if you talk to them, it wasn't a surprise. And I talked to crew chief Adam Stevens, and he spoke to the fact that round 1 of the playoffs was very much about performance, and round 2 was going to be about luck. And he clarified he didn't just mean Talladega and the Roval. He included Texas in that because of the way the track is laid out. 2 different ends of the racetrack, very flat, or much more flatter in turns 1 and 2. The banking drops off in 2. And then 3 and 4, they were basically wide open. And that place is interesting because, you know, in other tracks, you lose your line, you can kind of get out of the gas, collect it, and go. You cannot do that, as we saw at Texas. So I don't think the teams were necessarily surprised, and then you add in the factor of, you know, the next gen car and everything that's doing, and some other factors. So I don't think it was surprising for teams, maybe fans, because so much emphasis is placed on Talladega and the Roval as being wild cards.
So the craziness of Texas also created a new rivalry with Denny Hamlin and William Byron. The answers post-race were, I don't even know what to say about them, but we had one that said he meant to spin him out, but then didn't mean to spin him out, and then another one that's going to give what is coming to all of these playoff drivers. We're just waiting for it, Dennis. We're waiting. The rivalry between Willie B and Denny, though. Mamba, we'll start with you on this one. What did you see, and do you think there's going to be some bark associated with the bite that comes later, according to Denny?
So it looked like, I mean, they were racing hard, and, you know, it looks like the 11 kind of took the line away from the 24, but he took it away from him at a point where he was already there, and it put the 24 in the fence. And we know that it doesn't take much to bend a toe link, and then you're really backtracking and in trouble for the rest of your day. So, and I think William is to this point where he feels like he's been getting maybe maybe a little lack of respect from his racing peers, and I gotta give it to him. Like, I didn't know that William Byron had that dog in him, and I love to see it. It reminds me of like Jeff, of JG towards the end of his career a little bit. Like JG was like all of a sudden he's like pushing Jeff Burton and just a real fiery guy, and I'm like, I see a little bit of more of the old 24 coming out of this new kid right here. So I love that. You know, it's been exciting.
So Mamba mentioned what William had to say following the race. Here's his exact words to Parker on NBC.
Yeah, I didn't mean to obviously spin him out over there, but I'm obviously, you know, pissed off and just not going to get run like that. We've always run so well or raced so well together, so I don't know what it was all about. I mean,
I keep hearing these guys, but I'll just add it to the list of guys. When I get a chance, they're going to get it.
Going to get it later in the playoffs, or is this something that carries over to next year?
It all just works itself out. We'll be racing each other at some point, and he'll lose a lot of spots because he's, you know, racing me.
All right, well, lucky for us, Kim Kuhn's here on the table, who did that interview with Denny Hamlin post-race. So what did you take away from not just Williams' interview with Parker, but also hearing straight from the horse's mouth with Denny.
Well, Denny had an interesting answer saying that he's going to lose a lot of spots being William if he's racing around Denny. So Denny didn't come out and say straight up that he was going to wreck William.
When I get a chance, they're going to get it.
Yes, but he implied that he was going to make it very hard on them. And I know, we've heard a lot of bark from Denny. We're waiting for that bite. I think we're going to see it before the end of the season. He has now racked up this list of drivers that he is not happy with. Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, Alex Bowman, I think is on that list maybe too. William Byron to add to it. I think it's just going to take the right moment. Denny is a smart guy. He's not going to waste a move on a driver and end their day just to do it, just to get him back. He's going to wait and do it when there are high stakes and it's actual hard racing. He's not going to be blatant and do it when, he doesn't have an excuse to fall back on, hey, it's super speedway racing or that sort of thing. That's what I'm waiting for.
You need to be careful because if he locks himself in, or if he gets eliminated, either one is not a great situation, for the other drivers.
If you guys were Game of Thrones watchers, it's like Arya with her list. We're just marking people off at this point. I mean, if you're Denny, it's like Kim said, you kind of are just like.
I think he's plotting and waiting.
Yeah.
You better watch out, Uncle DH.
And if he can take out two birds with one stone, like two of these drivers on the list with one move, I think we could see that.
So basically, NBC, if you could just keep your camera on the 11 for the next 6 weeks, that'd be great. Well, straight non-playoff drivers have won the 4th playoff race in a row. This one obviously being the latest with Tyler Reddick. Unfortunately, the win for Reddick at Texas fell literally just a week short of keeping him in the playoffs. Let's hear what he had to say post-race.
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, 2 points. Every spot matters in this deal, and we just had 2 tough races. This will make that the pain of not making it through a little bit easier. Even though yes, it would have locked in around 8, but hey, we're winning races. That's what we'll keep trying to do.
So obviously for these non-playoff drivers, a win is a win. It still counts as a win in the NASCAR Cup Series, but they're taking away the chance for a playoff driver to lock into the next round. All 3 of us on this table at least had Tyler Reddick making it to our championship 4. One had him as her champion. I won't say which one. But
breaking my heart.
It still counts as a win. It's Tyler Reddick's 3rd career win in the NASCAR Cup Series. But are we surprised that the playoff drivers, Mamba, I asked you this last week, are we surprised they just cannot get it done?
I mean, no. I mean, the field has been leveled with this new car, and execution is so much more important. So we already had all the variables of pit stops and hard racing before, but now it's even more, right? And Tyler Reddick, he's in a very interesting situation.
Yeah.
And I think, tip of the cap to him for not quitting on his team. Like, not just mailing it in because they have a weird relationship now. And you could tell those guys are so happy to get another win. Like, it means a lot to them still. And, I got to be honest, I didn't see Reddick winning Texas. But RCR has now won Texas 2 years in a row, at least once, I think.
No, it was 2020. Austin Dillon won.
Okay, Austin Dillon won in 2020, but they have shown speed at Texas before, so good for them.
Kyle Busch won in 2020, right? So
yes.
Technically.
Technically, RCR's won.
And if you listen to Kyle Busch's Care Center interview, he's already got his mind on RCR in 2023.
Yeah. Kim, are you concerned though that playoff drivers? I mean, here is my take on this. I always thought it was a little bit of a disappointment when you don't see somebody lock in. Like when it's not a playoff driver, you're like, oh man, no. But this year, now I'm like, oh heck yeah, more battle for Talladega and the Roval.
I'm with Mamba on the fact that it's not a shocker that we're seeing non-playoff drivers win just because the parity we've seen this season. I am surprised that there is still not a clear-cut playoff driver that is our favorite. We are seeing mistake after mistake after mistake from these teams. Nobody has risen to the top, which to me, it's like every year when the playoffs start, something clicks and these teams bring an extra oomph to it. And I have not seen that at all this season. I also want to say, Tyler Reddick, could you not have
one more week?
Just one more week. One more week.
Oh, you could have given the girl one more week.
RP was thinking the same thing.
Because I think Tyler will win Phoenix.
Oh. But to Kim's point as well, there's 30 points that separates 1 from 12 right now. So that's how close these points are. So not taking advantage of a win for these playoff drivers is for sure hurting them.
Yeah,
great on us.
The other drivers are stealing playoff points.
Yeah.
So we're not going to see the same thing we saw in years past where all of these points just get shoved to the next round. We saw it after the first round. 3 non-playoff drivers took so many of those playoff points away from the playoff drivers.
I would say too, every time, so Chase Elliott to start the 2 rounds has had a very poor first race, and it's flipped the deck. So he had all the points, and then he lost them all, and then he got them back to start this round, and then he kind of lost them all again. So that's definitely a big, big wrench.
Yeah. Right now he's the first one to the good. So he would be the last driver into the round of 8. Going into Texas, P1. So we're now sitting at P8 for the 9. All right, well, that was all the action on Sunday and led into Sunday night. But Saturday, we saw history in the making with Noah Gregson's 4th win in a row. It came at Texas Motor Speedway. The last time someone won 4 races in a row in the Xfinity Series was Sam Ard in 1983. Let's take a look.
Before I was born.
All 3 of us here at the table. Let's take a look at Gregson's recent victories.
Noah Gregson to the low side, and Creed, he pulls the video game move. He's in the wall. Can he keep the throttle up? Here comes Noah Gregson. Creed cannot do it, and Gregson will win at Darlington.
And NASCAR is now telling us it is official. Noah Gregson has won his 10th career race, and it comes here at Kansas Speedway. The final time down the backstretch, here through 3 and 4. Brandon Jones, can he catch him? No! Noah Gregson wins at Bristol. But it's going to be 4 in a row. Noah Gregson does it.
Well, there are a lot of things that are in common with all of those wins. Noah Gregson, the Xfinity Series, the number 9, and vomit. He has thrown up every single win. So good on you, Noah Gregson, because I don't know what's happening with the body, but you keep winning. So obviously a solid year for Noah, and a lot of credit to Junior Motorsports, what they're doing right now.
Yeah, JRM has set themselves apart from the rest of the field. Noah, we're seeing a different Noah than we saw even at the beginning of the season. You know, when it was announced that he was going cup driving full time next year, I kind of was like, is he ready for that? And the evolution just this year that we've seen from him is, I think, astronomical. 7 wins so far on the season, and we still have races to go. On top of that, Gregson won Phoenix in the spring. So he is going to be a contender when they go playoff or championship racing in Phoenix. Now, he's got to lock himself into the Champ 4. We still have to get through another round, but I think it's safe to say Gregson has all but shown us he can get to that championship 4.
Champ favorite for sure.
Yeah.
So we talk about rivalries, right?
No.
And the Cup Series.
Yeah.
And Ross Chastain a lot, and when he's going to get his payback. Noah Gregson has kind of racked up some of those as well.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, they're doing a killer job. Their cars are fast, they're executing, they're doing everything right. But, you know, does the 54, does he have something to say after what happened at Bristol? The 16 and the 9, they both have gotten together a couple times. Like, the 9 has some people he's got to get through to get.
Well, the 54's got some people he's got to get through too to
yeah,
win a
that's right.
championship.
I mean, so like when we get there, if the 9's involved, the 54's involved, the 16, and then the 4th person, whoever that driver ends up being, it's gonna be hot in Phoenix. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, they say that the best way to avoid any type of retaliation is just to stay out front. Just win the race, Noah. You're doing a good job so far. 4 wins in a row, 7 this season. Will Gregson win the Xfinity Series championship in November? We can keep this short and sweet. Is he a champ come 3 months down the road?
I think so. I think yes. I kind of wanted to pick Justin Allgaier because I feel like it's his time. Little Gator. It's between the 2 of them for me.
The 9 and the 7. Who you got? Yes or no?
No. I got no.
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 Are you picking the 54?
No, I'm going.
Josh Berry?
No.
I'm just gonna go through the entire list.
She's just gonna name them all. Eventually, she'll get one. No. Do I have to pick?
No, you don't have to do
No.
anything.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to go with yes. And I am also the same as Kim. I think it stays within the JRM camp, and I think it's either between the 9 or the 7. Whoever shows up better at Phoenix is my pick for that. Okay. I don't know what's happening here. All right, so setting up a lot of storylines for November. And first, our playoff drivers have to make it through the chaos of Talladega. It's one of my absolute favorite weeks of the year. And now
will disagree.
Now we've just set up for a lot of sleepless nights for the drivers, for the crew chiefs, but I'm pumped. I'm sleeping great. I'm so excited to get down to Alabama. So let's do our backseat bets presented by BetMGM. Again, you can text 31032, agree with Kim or Mamba, disagree, they don't care, it's still their picks, but backseat bets coming up. So let's get right into who we think is going to have the most success at Talladega. Momentum with Tyler Reddick, or his teammate in the 3 who has success at Superspeedway Racing with Austin Dillon. Reddick or Dillon?
In terms of just who's going to finish higher, I think it's going to be Dillon. Reddick, the last 2 Dega races for him on the Cup side have not treated him well. I don't see anything changing there, and we know how good Austin is at Superspeedways. He won Daytona. I know there were a lot of different things in play there, but he always finds himself at the front of the field when we go to Superspeedways. So it's Dillon for me.
All right.
Yeah, it's AD. I think he does a good job on the super speedways, knows where to put himself in contention to win races and stay on the racks, which is really the biggest thing, right? So, Austin Dillon.
I always go with momentum. Tyler Reddick. That's my only reason for that.
Mojo.
Yep. I also want to just credit the BetMGM team because the next matchup is an interesting one. And Talladega, I will say, is a good place to make it look not intentional. So we happen to have one of those drivers who they're going to get it, who's really good at super speedways. So Denny Hamlin versus William Byron. This is just, let's just say this one with a big old grin on our face.
Yeah, I'm going to go DH just because I think the way he plate races, and especially this year, is
So good.
really, really good. He's kind of leveled up in the plate races, so I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin.
I think he's always been a decent driver at super speedways, and we talk about there being so much luck involved in these type of tracks and this type of racing, but there are guys that always rise to the top in terms of being able to do things at these tracks that other drivers can't do. We mentioned AD. Bubba always finds himself up front. Keselowski. And I think DH is in that category of drivers that just know how to work through traffic, know the type of moves you need to make at these tracks. And so it's a no-brainer for me. Sorry, Byron.
Yeah, it is also a no-brainer for me as well. All 3 on the table here are going Denny Hamlin. When it comes to super speedway racing, I don't know if there's anybody better than Denny Hamlin, in my personal opinion. So give me the 11. All right, next up, Alex Bowman versus Christopher Bell. Both of these drivers are below the elimination line, and they are 1 point separating the two. So really just throw a dart at the board with this one, Mamba.
I'm going to go with Christopher Bell, mainly because he's going to have more help, I think.
Yeah,
like
with the Toyotas.
You think?
No, he's going to have, because there's more of them out.
Okay, all right.
Right, there's more of them out, so he'll have more opportunity.
Unselfish,
Yeah,
yes.
unselfish.
Got it. That's a good
You know what I
point.
mean?
That is
So
a
that's
good
why I'm
point.
going to go with him.
Break that down a little bit more. Explain that. What do you mean by that?
So, so there's the Chevy teams, right?
Sure.
So we have Chase Elliott is in, Bowman is obviously in,
Willie
Byron's
B,
in,
Suarez.
and Larson's in,
Yeah.
and Chastain's in, and Suarez in. So all those
They all-
guys
yeah.
need to make points and try to win this race.
So they are more selfish.
Right, they're kind of out for themselves
Yeah.
a little bit more than their teammates versus Christopher Bell, who has at least Martin Truex. I don't know where Kyle Busch falls on this list, but he will have some help there.
I'm going to use your argument
Against me?
you because Truex didn't make the playoffs, winless on the season, winless at super speedways. The thing he wants most is to win at a super speedway. Kyle Busch
Doesn't care.
doesn't care. Doesn't care about anybody else, doesn't care about the rest of the season.
And he might as well be a Chevy.
I
at
think
this
that is going to give him a let's go attitude. The 45, yeah, they're in the Owners' Championship, but they're not, so they want
point. A win.
it for themselves. And then, I mean, Ty Gibbs. Who knows what he's going to do out there? So I'm using your argument against you to say that Bowman is going to be the higher finisher because Bell's not going to have any help. Fair?
Fair.
DH isn't going to help him either.
No, but DH is going to need the 20 up there for his help. Like, so, you know.
Yeah, but anyway.
I am just going with strength in numbers, and I'm going with who, selfish or unselfish, I don't care, but who has the most helpers, because that is what we have seen gets you to the final stage at a super speedway race. So for that reason only, I'm going with the Chevy of Alex Bowman. Strength in numbers. Okay. Sorry, Mama.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I'm used to this.
Next one. This one was a tough one for me because both of these drivers have shown that spark at super speedway racing. One has a win at Talladega and has had a lot of success there. So is it going to be the 45 of Bubba Wallace or the 17 of Chris Buescher?
I think it's going to be Buescher. I don't know if that shocks a lot of people. This was a hard choice here because we know how good Bubba is at these type of tracks, but Chris can hold his own too, and he's got a teammate in Keselowski. I think they're going to help each other endlessly throughout the race, and then Ford's won 10 of the last 14 Dega races, so blue ovals.
I'm going to go with Bubba. I think that he just knows what he's doing on these super speedways. Keeps putting himself in position. They had a shot at it at Talladega earlier in the spring. So I'm going to go with the 45, and they're going to have a strong chance at putting themselves into the next round.
We're crossing our fingers for some good weather, but there is a hurricane/tropical storm heading in that area, and you know who has some success when it comes to a wet Talladega. So give me Bubba Wallace.
Oh, I see. I was wondering where we were going with that. Nice.
All right. Well, that has been our Backseat Bets presented by BetMGM, and now next up is the pick that counts the most. It's the winning pick. There can only be one in victory lane. Will we continue the trend and have 5 non-playoff drivers? Or will we finally have somebody who locks into the round of 8? Mamba, you get to go first on this one.
I got my pick written down.
Yeah,
so
I think it's gonna.
I
have no notes. You know, I'm off the cuffs here. I think it's gonna be the 45. I think Bubba gets it done. Everyone's shocked apparently. Like he hasn't won. Like okay, but I mean they are fighting for something in the owners' championship. So if a dark horse that is completely out, I'm gonna go with Ricky Stenhouse Jr.
Oh.
Yeah.
No,
dark horse.
Why do
dark
you get
horse.
to pick 2?
Because it's a dark horse. It is Talladega. I might have to roll a backup car out. We got a backup.
Can you please look at
hanging with the mayor?
Can you
so
see
we
what
get
I wrote
picks.
teeny tiny so that nobody could see?
Yeah. She does have it.
Oh, she's
Can
mad.
I share my pick?
She's mad 'cause I
So
took
my
it.
pick was going to be full on, not my dark horse.
she does have
My
it written
solid pick, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. If you look at the history of Super Speedway winners,
it's written
it's really tiny. 16 of the last 19 Super Speedway winners, it's been their first one of the season. I think we're going to see that this weekend, and it's going to be RSJ. We know how good he is at this type of racing. We've seen him win at Talladega. He's been fast though at other tracks too.
Yeah.
Brian
Speed at Texas,
Brian Patty will just throw everything at the wall to see what sticks in terms of strategy. Don't count them out. It is going to be the 47 in victory lane, and that's my full pick. He's not a dark horse. I'm going to reiterate that.
All right. I am also going to go with one pick because that's how it works here. I'm going to go. I'm going to go with the aggression level being extremely high right off of the jump at Talladega, and one of the most aggressive drivers I can think of is the 22 of Joey Logano. So he's atop of the points right now, number 1. I think he is P1 at the end of Dega.
I don't know what it says about Joey for me to know who you were going to pick right when you said
most aggressive.
aggressive.
I think it's going to come down to some heavy blocking, and who better than Joey Logano? Well, Joey is one of the drivers that we've been following on the Race for the Championship on USA every Thursday. Make sure to catch that every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on USA. Here's a sneak peek of this week's episode.
We are going to change this sport.
Trackhouse battling for the lead. Daniel Suarez is drawn even with Ross Chastain.
It's the ultimate dream is what I'm living right now.
My only thing is win race and championship, so and that one is up to me. Kyle Busch enters the Coca-Cola 600 race week without a contract.
Nothing happens. Am I okay just to walk away? Yeah, I am.
The left tire is not doing anything. Yeah, we might crash.
All right, so make sure and tune into that this Thursday as well. But then you have a full slate of NASCAR action. All 3 series will take to the Super Speedway at Talladega this weekend. So we're going to do something fun here on the table. Kim, give me one word to describe Talladega.
It's not going to make a lot of people happy, but wet.
No, that's not the right word. All right, Mama, one word.
I'll make people happy. Boulevard.
Oh. She could have been talking about liquid.
Yeah.
Not
have the
falling from
beer
the sky.
flowing.
Exactly. I'm going to go with chaos. That could be the boulevard or on-track activity. Who knows? But make sure and tune in to Talladega this Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern on NBC. The fam will all be there. Make sure and say hi to us. If you see us, just pray for us. I don't know what to say. But make sure and tune into the race this Sunday. It'll be exciting. And tune into Backseat Drivers every Monday. Thanks for hanging out with us this week. We'll see you right back here next Monday.
This year, see more. The full field of in-car cameras